Kevin, good to see you this morning.
Thanks, Jeff.
Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for letting us come and invade your space for a little while and have this conversation. You've been on my radar. I've listened and watched you grow over the years, so to sit down and talk to you at this time I'm excited about that.
Well, I'm glad to have you here, and I'm glad to be sitting down and talk about the brewery and the commissioner race and all that. And
okay.
If you hear some strange noises behind us, we're brewing, so if you hear some things that sound like thunder, that's not really
okay.
We're not having a thunderstorm.
Okay, so. Very good. I mean, I was excited at first to see, wow, I didn't know anyone ever had a brewery, and then when I heard a little bit more about your background and your expertise, I mean, this guy's top notch. I mean, he's not just someone who's trying to figure this out. I mean, tell us a little bit about how that all happened, your background, and how you ended up coming to Coshocton.
Yeah, this is basically to the day, the 10-year anniversary when I moved here. So it was the first few days of March of 2016, and yeah, my wife grew up one property over from here, so just walking distance, and that's right where my mother-in-law and father-in-law live, and we have lots of our family that have moved back since, which has been really exciting as well. But so my background is I was born in Utah, grew up out west, Colorado, Arizona, California, Oregon. My parents met in Oregon and then moved to Colorado. So they moved, all my family's in Oregon. My parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody on both sides of the family. So anyhow, I met my wife out in Utah. She was getting her graduate degree in biology at the University of Utah. And so I had lots of friends in the university, and we just ended up meeting up. And then we started a family and decided that, living out here with more family would be fantastic. And so we kind of got everything rolling and set it up and did it. And so we had the opportunity. We were looking for somewhere to move to, and the closer to the family, the better.
Sure.
And Ronnie Norman, who was the former owner of the farm here, was a family friend. I mean, I met him the first time he came out. We were saying Christmas carols to him in the barn.
Oh yeah.
And we were doing that because we were going around to sing Christmas carols to people that didn't have a lot of family around. So.
Right.
Ronnie was a bachelor farmer. His mom had passed away, and his father passed away when he was 13 in the early mid 50s. And I mean, Ronnie was an amazing person, amazing human, amazing farmer, amazing member of the community, and so very inspiring. And so we wanted to buy the farm from Ronnie because we knew that he was going to be leaving, or he had retired his dairy herd and stuff. But then he suddenly got ill and passed away. So we ended up with being able to buy the farm from his distant family members. And so we were able to start building things up and move here. And my background as brewing comes from, I studied biochemistry and brewing science at the University of California at Davis, near Sacramento, the Bay Area. And they have the only long-standing academic brewing science program in the country. And so I was fortunate to be able to have that on my resume. And so it really allowed me to get fantastic brewing jobs throughout my career from the get-go. So I worked at a lot of small breweries, big breweries, and eventually I landed in Uinta, and I was the head brewmaster there for a decade and did lots of expansion. So we started with a medium-sized brewery, and one of my jobs there was to build it up to a very large brewery. So that's kind of my background. I would travel to Germany a lot to source equipment, to inspect equipment at factories, so do factory acceptance tests and stuff, and work with lots of engineers to design and build stuff. So that's my background is brewing science and brewing engineering. So I ended up building a brewery that had 50% more capacity than the Great Lakes Brewing Company. So it's pretty big, but much larger than this. Like, we look at our brew house here, and I've got a 5-row brew house. The brew house I installed there was a 3-vessel, 5-barrel. We measure everything in the U.S. beer barrel, which is 31 gallons, just for the record. But anyhow, it was a 135-barrel system and a 5-vessel. And then we have 10-barrel fermenters here, and I was installing 500-barrel and 1,000-barrel fermenters. So they look much more like your outdoor silos at the cheese house and stuff. So, pretty big. So that's fine.
So, I mean, this is much smaller than you cut your teeth on in a big brewery, but you came here. And I mean, you have developed a reputation for very, very fine beers. I think you won some awards for your beer, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm a reluctant participant in competitions, but I judge at competitions a lot.
Oh, okay.
But also, it's kind of makes it easier because then I don't have conflict of interest at the competition.
Sure.
So I judge at like the World Beer Cup and the Europe and a few other competitions, like the Great American Beer Festival. So these are competitions where there's judges from around the world that come, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, we have won a few awards recently because I asked everyone, I'm like, hey, who's interested in competing? Because it's a lot of work to get everything organized. And I tried to start planning a year in advance anyways, but we have won some awards recently. It's been pretty fun. Yeah.
Well, I can remember when you first came here and we were talking about your model, what you were hoping to do here at Woolly Pig. And by the way, how did you get the name Woolly Pig? Let's talk about that for just a minute. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, well, when I was traveling in Germany for work, one of my places, I was always going to Bavaria. And northern Bavaria is a region called Franconia. And there's a section of that called Oberfranken, and then a section of that's called the Fränkische Schweiz, which translates like Franconian Switzerland. Okay. Like kind of like little Switzerland. And on and there's like hundreds and thousands of kilometers of hiking and biking trails, and it's a mixture of woodlands, croplands, pasture lands, and it's very hilly, not really mountainous. Okay. Looks exactly like Coshocton County. And I was on a bike trip through there, and just on a little tiny back road, and saw these pigs that were woolly and had piglets. This was November, because I used to go there in November for the Brau Beviala, which is the world's largest brewing exposition, and took some pictures, came back, and this was, I don't know, it's probably 2010 or something, and my wife was like, oh, it looks like Coshocton County, and then my sister-in-law was in vet school and was like, oh yeah, she didn't know what they were, so they were like, oh, that's Mangalitsa, which was a recovering pasture-raised pig breed. Okay. And so we decided we would get them when we bought the farm, and then we had them here when we started building the brewery, and they're a huge part of how we process our organic waste from the brewery. So they allow us to exist as an operating brewery on the farm. So It's a huge part of sustainability, but it's also, it makes sense. So it's like, we're brewing today, and I mashed in this morning, handed off to Dennis, and then any minute here, he's going to be scooping out all the spent grain and dumping out the trub from the kettle. It's kind of like your byproducts from the cheese house. Right. Same thing, and then we can just direct feed it all to the pigs over there and just over here. So it's, we don't have to pay for transport or shipment or, contracts with other farmers or anything.
And when customers come here, the pigs are in the pasture up above where your entrance is. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the attraction. People come and if the weather's nice, hang out, look at the pigs, and because they're very unique looking animals,
Yeah, and so we had the name, and then we partnered with a local artist and branding, marketing person, because we didn't want to mess that up. That was huge. Right. And I'm not that person, and I think a lot of us are like, oh, it's not important, we'll do that. We'll figure it out. We'll make our own website or something. But expressing who you are and what you represent and trying to really nail that in an image and in a few words is, I can't say enough about it. Okay. And then if you can back that up with authenticity, I think that you can have a winning combination that really draws people in. Yeah. And so that's one thing that allowed us, we not only draw in just beer drinkers and people who want to come hang out in a rather bucolic atmosphere and just with family and friends, anyone from children up to grandparents and great grandparents. But we are really focused on just trying to be really inclusive and open, and we have also drawn in people within the industry. So we get people from the industry, from the region, from around across the state, across the region, even from around the country, that come visit us. Like I had a beer judge from Belgium come stop by a couple of years ago because they was on his way to Memphis, Tennessee, and no, not Memphis, Nashville. Sorry, I misspoke. But yeah, so it was pretty cool. We get people. So we had a lot of industry support, and then we get a lot of regional support. So we get people from all over coming in. I would say at least 50 to maybe 60% of the people that come through that door are from outside the county.
Well, and as I recall, your early business model involved, a small retail and on-site sale of beer, and then you were planning on doing bottling that you would be able to wholesale out the door. But now you're 8 years in. You're not doing much wholesale at all, are you?
No,
it's all on-site.
Yeah, I could go into a whole thing about why wholesale in beer is really tricky, because there's the 3-tier system that's a holdover from Prohibition, and it's beer wholesalers are very important, but they also have contracts that are protected by franchise law, which is a very archaic thing. So it's like you write a contract, and then if things aren't working out for, like I'm saying, all right, well, I'm going to invest $2 million so I can meet your forecasted demands, and then all of a sudden they only hit 15% of that demand. Then it's like,
where's your investment?
Then I want to walk away, and we have a contract saying that I can. Then they're like, well, franchise law trumps that, so you can't actually walk away. But if you want to pay, here's the calculus. If you pay us $200,000, you can walk away. So now I'm like, anyways, we don't need to get in franchise law. That's the thing. We're trying to get that law changed, and I help with the Brewers Association.
But I mean, I guess the point I was trying to get at is you have found just being on-site retail sales of beer here in this little corner of Coshocton County has exceeded your expectations.
Yeah, it's been amazing having the local community support as well as the greater regional support. I mean, we get people coming from Pittsburgh and Cleveland and Columbus almost every day, definitely every weekend day. Like you hear people from across the state. But yeah, it has been really great having the local community support and we've become a place that it's a safe place for anybody to come. We don't really have big political drives, and we're not trying to indoctrinate with anything. It's just people can come and hang out, and that's been really important. It's been a nice place for everyone to come and just relax and be a community space. And it's kind of, there's a new term out, not new, it's a term, they call it third space. So it's kind of like your space away from work, your space away from home. Where's that other space you go? There's not a lot of those in Coshocton really, but we are that space, and so people can kind of like come hang out.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because I've been 30 some years in family business, and now you've got a business here much earlier in development, but there's a lot of similarities. Working with family is a good thing and also challenging at times, right?
Absolutely.
You've been through that.
Yeah.
But what I like to see and talk about now that I'm running this commissioner campaign is how businesses impact the community. Okay, and I understand. I mean, we've grown tremendously up at Pearl Valley Cheese over the last 30 some years, and you're doing that too. I mean, if we have this conversation 10 years from now, I kind of wonder what it's going to look like, because you're on a growth trajectory here that looks pretty good, But we do have impact in our communities beyond just satisfying our customers that walk in and out. You've got employees and you've got other people. How do you see yourself fitting into the community, into the county? What kind of impact do you think local family-owned businesses can have in the community?
Yeah, I mean, when we first arrived here, this was the tractor shed, and I wrote a bit, got settled in for a couple of weeks, and then wrote a business plan and got funding with, I talked to some local banks. So People's Bank is, our banker, and they gave us a small business loan, and we then had to start building everything. So I hired Hathaway and Wagner and Bill Gilbert, and the list goes, Hilscher Clark, the list goes on and on. We hired all that money
local contractors and services,
and just spent that as fast as I possibly could. And I also, had the equipment built as locally as possible as I could, which most of that was built in Canton. That company's now gone. But then also I had some local welders modify some stuff, and so it's we're just this from the very beginning. That was that. But then since then, we're constantly needing support. And and it takes a village. It really does. It was fantastic to come into a community. It's smaller, but it was very well interconnected, and my family was interconnected in it, my extended family. So it made it much more easy for me to come in and find those resources and find the help, and that's been a huge impact for us as well.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't understand this whole idea of multiplying the impact in the community from, you borrow your money from the bank and you put your name on that dotted line, and that's a scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've done it a few times myself. It's a scary thing.
Yeah.
But you do that, you take that risk, and then you just work your tail off for months, years, however long it takes, to get the job done. I want to sing that song. I mean, that's the kind of message that I want to bring. Do you agree with that?
100%. I mean, local businesses that I think can do a couple of great things for the community, and one is exactly that. We have family and friends that work here at the brewery, and they're all on payroll, and we really enjoy it's and you said working with family. Sometimes it can be challenging, but it's always for us. It's been, fortunately, I'm probably the craziest of them all. So I have it all set up so they can keep me in line, and they're all brilliant and well balanced people. So it's been fabulous. But the other thing with the business is that it really fosters a lot of community value. Like there's something the community can be proud about. People enjoy it. People can talk about it. People. And I feel like we've been able to put a little star on the map in Coshocton County.
Absolutely.
That people like to, say positive things about. And I think that's also a very important part of business. Is more than just, it's very important with the payroll and the funds that go back into the development of our businesses and the support of our business, but also creating destinations and not even just destinations, but things that people are proud about. Like Cold Valley Cheese is an amazing business. It's really cool, and I think the cheese is great too.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Well, listen, as you're thinking ahead, is there anything on the radar in the next few months or in this year that you want to announce? If not, that's fine. But if there's something that you want to get out there, this might be an opportunity to say it. You got some new fantastic beer that we're going to see for the first time this summer.
I mean, we've had, we released this winter, for the first time we did some barrel-aged beers, which means we take our beers and age them in like bourbon barrels or rye whiskey barrels or, port barrels or applejack barrels, whatever it is.
Okay.
Imparts extra flavor, and that's been kind of fun too. So we've been doing that. So we had those
some new flavors. Okay.
Those beers kind of keep rolling out every month or so, and then oh my goodness, we're going to be doing some collaborations that'll be coming out. Right now we have our maple sap beer, which is fermenting. So I go locally in Fresno and buy 500 gallons of sap, and we call it our waterless beer because we, instead of mashing in where we mix water and our grain together, we're mixing with sap, maple
tree sap.
And, and so it's pretty fun. So we do that every year, and it's very specific. I mean, when that runs, we get it, we brew it. It takes a lot of coordination. Anyhow, and I'm going to be stopped by this afternoon to actually buy the syrup just for. You can also use that in some other beers too.
Well, listen, this is a great story you got going on here, Kevin. And I mean, I'm looking forward to see what you do. As you're thinking about this whole thing, I mean, you're on my podcast for county commissioner. What are you looking for? What would you like to see in the county commissioner's office? For the next 4 years is what the term would be if I'm successful. And my emphasis is on business. What would you like to see us direct us to, or what kind of person you want out there?
Well, I mean, most of my firsthand experience with the county commissioners came when I was first starting my business, and they were very supportive. That was invaluable. And having them having some experience and knowledge in doing that, and having a commissioner that is familiar with how local businesses run, how businesses run in Coshocton, how bigger businesses run in general, and a business that is well known, that's on the map, that does bring in tourism, that does bring in value and respect to the community, I think is and how it does feed back into the community in all positive ways, financially and beyond financially, I think is invaluable. And so that's why I would really be excited to have someone like you be a commissioner. And like I said, the commissioners that have been on have also been very helpful with our needs.
Yeah. Well, great. Hey, you are a bright spot in Coshocton County. You've done a great job here, and I hope for many, many years to come. Hope that keeps going on, and hope we can stay in touch and in contact. And
well, we appreciate it. And it's and again, it's the story that Pearl Valley's had has been very been inspiring, and I think it's been a great help for the community as well. And
thanks for your time, Kevin.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Good luck to you too. Shocton County, I appreciate so much what you've been able to do for us at Pearl Valley Cheese. The years and years of support, the involvement in our business, all of that stuff has allowed us to achieve a level of success that you couldn't imagine for a small company in this county. But we do appreciate it, and I got to tell you, I am going to bring that same work ethic, that same desire to succeed to my job as County Commissioner. I do need your support. Please come out and vote for me on May 5th.